On The Breeze, we always say the only music we play is great music, and that could be any genre by any musician, and a lot of it is local. That's key for us, and boy, do we have a Christmas present for everybody today. We are actually going to hear some of the best local musicians. Reese Williams is here with us, and you host great musicians every week, don't you, Reese?
I do. I'm not a musician myself, but I facilitate the show that showcases them.
Well, it makes it happen, so
Yes.
That's important. Tell us about your show, and folks can check that out from time to time.
It is called Shockoe Sessions Live. It happens every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. We broadcast live from In Your Ear Studios. Insert adjective of the week, Studio A.
Yeah.
And yes, we've been doing it for 2.5 years, 120 shows of local musicians. These are not garage bands, cover bands. They are incredibly talented, professional-driven musicians and entertaining as well.
Well, that's the perfect intro for our first guest, and we're going to talk with Dr. Weldon Hill. And Weldon and I are close in age. I'm a little older than him, I think. So, Weldon, you teach music now and have for a long time at different universities. Where are you now?
Well, I was at most recently Virginia State University, and I just retired, actually. It's not well known. I suppose it is now.
It's out.
It's September 1st, so I am being a full-time musician like I was when I was in my 20s all over again.
So you're getting to play what you want to play, where you want to play it, whenever the doors open.
Absolutely.
And we are so lucky to have you. We're going to hear a song in a moment, a great Christmas song. And I want to get a little background, though. Just like anything else, before I got a chance to meet you, I went and looked at some videos. And I stumbled on a video at you at the United States Capitol playing behind Lori Williams, and the President of the United States is sitting there. No pressure. First of all, you're playing behind this amazing singer, which we'll hear another one, a local one, in just a moment. What was that like?
Surreal,
Yeah.
that word. We didn't know exactly who was going to be there. I saw Nancy Pelosi walk in out of the corner of my eye, and then I saw Joe Biden walk in. Then I saw John Boehner, and I thought, oh, boy.
Might get interesting.
Yeah. And then it was the unveiling of the Frederick Douglass statue in the Capitol Rotunda, and his relatives walked in, and they all had the famous Frederick Douglass hairstyle.
Really?
And I thought, oh, okay, this is starting.
That's a level of
to
commitment.
grow. Yeah, it really is. From there, you just sort of turn it on and do what you do. It's actually a great feeling that they'll get to hear you. And Joe Biden actually commented, and John Boehner sent me a letter. So
Wow.
it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
So you play with a lot of local great musicians. There's jazz where folks can hear you all the time now. And I was just wondering, when you're playing with somebody who we're going to hear with you today, like Desiree Roots, there has to be a level of trust there between her and you. So she knows you, you know her. She knows when it's your turn, and you're not going to showboat and try to take some of hers as if anybody could.
Yeah.
And James Saxmo Gates is there as well. Does that almost happen immediately, or is that something that you have to develop over the years?
Yeah, that's the product of time and repetition, I suppose. Desiree and I have known each other, wow, I'm really going to start to tell my age here, but well over 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her father, Jimmy Roots, was a music director for Sister Rosetta Tharpe, the famous gospel singer and guitarist. Her mother was one of the background singers, is how they met. They lived around the corner from us when we were coming up. So, I'd see her from time to time. And then she decided to come to Virginia Union, and I was teaching there. So she was in a couple of my classes, although we aren't that far apart in age. And we performed together for a long, long time. I was looking at some pictures. One of them was at least 35 pounds ago.
We got a lot of those. Everybody's got those. Yeah.
But yes, that comes with time. And then, Desiree has so much musical versatility. I dare say, I don't know of anybody who is more versatile in terms of going from church. She's her degree is in operatic performance. So I've accompanied her doing classical stuff a zillion times. She sort of broke into the Broadway scene doing the opening show at the Carpenter Center, then Carpenter Center, this Dominion University Center now. But she was the lead in that show, Pearly, at the time. And she's been all over the world, literally, performing, doing a Broadway and off-Broadway, as well as her own jazz record. And she's been performing with us, Weldon Hill Group, or a.k.a. East-West Quartet or Quintet, for years as well. So, yeah, that is the product of time, and she's a top-shelf musician. And very smart, has a very, very sophisticated leadership acumen, She's running Theater 4 now.
Yeah. Reese, I know you want to jump in here, and you've got some questions, too. Is it about this tune or Christmas in general?
It's a comment about the group, about James Saxmo Gates and Desiree Roots and Michael Hawkins, and what the fam band is sort of encompassed in interviewing several of them over the last year and a half for the podcast. You hit the nail on the head. Nobody is trying to assert themselves, or it's not about ego. They are so excited when somebody else in that group is succeeding or takes the lead or has an idea or has creative input. That is a truly remarkable and beautiful thing for a group of people to be this supportive. And nobody's a megalomaniac or anything. It's incredible.
This particular song we're going to hear is a classic. Everybody knows this song.
Yeah.
But I listened to it, and I listened to Desiree, and she does that thing where she just take a word and it becomes a scale.
Yeah.
And you hear that, just it's a one-syllable word, and it's 8 notes in there. And it just kind of, you go into a trance, and it's a good thing. So we're going to hear Vince Guaraldi's classic, done up classic style, with some fantastic musicians.
Christmas time is here. Happiness and cheer, fun for all that children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes fill the air, everywhere, golden times and ancient rhymes of joy and dreams to share. Sleigh bells fill the air, beauty everywhere. Yuletide by the side and golden dreams to share. Christmas time is here. We'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the Christmas time is here. Happiness and cheer, fun for all that children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes fill the air, carols everywhere, golden times and ancient rhymes of joy and dreams to share. Sleigh bells fill the air, beauty everywhere. Yuletide by the fireside and golden dreams to share. Christmas time is here. We'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year.
So what I love after hearing that, and I have watched you listen, Weldon, I've watched you as you're listening to Giraldi before, when you're not performing it, your head goes back, you have this look of just, you're happy, it's sublime. What about his playing is so moving and so extraordinary?
He was groundbreaking, you know. He did things that nobody else was doing, and number one. Number two, I really like the idea of space, you know, allowing music to breathe. You know, every musical genre or, subset of a genre is typically a reaction to the one that preceded it, you know. Charlie Parker was preceded by the swing era, big bands, to this virtuosic playing. Then comes Miles Davis, who says, "Oh, I'm glad Bird is out of here." And there was the birth of the cool, you know, laid back, space, open style. And then Giraldi comes along, not a whole lot of chord changes, not a whole lot of busyness, not virtuosic, as some people may say, but nonetheless highly competent and perfect. But it just allows the music to sing. And I always liked that about him so much.
Some piano players would be in a group with a piano, a guitar, and a bass. But then when you start adding drums and maybe even a horn in there, that becomes a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. And that kind of quiet dignity of not overdoing anything, then you got to step up your game with each individual act. I want to ask you a question. I had a chance years and years ago to interview Harry Connick after a concert. I think it was at the Mosque. And I asked him a question, and he looked at me like I was nuts, and I'm thinking it might happen again. I asked him if his fingernails were really hard. Because that guy attacked the keyboard. I mean, he was banging on the keyboard, New Orleans style. He looked at me, and I was like, "Nobody's ever asked you that?" He went, "No." And so you're not an attacker. But are your fingernails really hard? You need extra strong clippers.
Actually, kind of brittle, to be honest. If I'm playing on a bad piano, I'll have to press a little bit, and my tendency is to get up a little higher And so I'll get home and have some breaks. Or if you're playing, organ, classical organ, pipe organ, you've heard the saying, I'm having a party, I'm pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, sure.
Well, that comes from classical organ. So when you pull out all the stops on an organ, it becomes increasingly difficult to play. So you have to really get up on top and so I'll come home with torn up fingernails.
Good.
Do you have a monthly Manny scheduled? Or?
That information is classified.
Can't give it all away here.
I'll get the name of your salon later. So we joke that Weldon likes to perform with all of these different established bands in Richmond because he likes performing on Shockoe Sessions live as much as possible. But not only does he collaborate with what we feel to be people who are institutions in the Richmond music scene, he branches out and he collaborates with up-and-coming musicians as well, like the artist St. Samuel. Hello.
Hello.
Sam had a chance to be on our show on Virginia This Morning on CBS 6.
Yeah. A couple
How
of
old
times.
were you when that happened?
The first time I was 14.
Yeah.
And then they were super cool and they would let me come back once a year really and perform. And every time I was there, I had a new band. And then eventually I went back and had this new artist thing. And you all played music videos during COVID, and it was so supportive.
So you've been around now. You're not 14 anymore, and all grown up, and playing with people like Weldon, and obviously he's passing on a wealth of knowledge and experience, but you're also soaking that up, and then you build on that with what you bring to the session. Is there a line, because when I watch your videos and I listen to your music, the lyrics really are very good. And I wrote down the one where we were always in love, but never at the same time. How many couples have been through that kind of experience?
So that was the first song that I ever wrote as St. Samuel. And I was working with a producer at the time who was very picky about what he would want to work with me on. And I sent that to him, and he was like, I want to do that one. And that was as a first song. And I was it's a new artist, even though I've been doing it for a bit. So it feels good. Lyrics are one of the things that I'm most self-conscious about. So when people say something.
Do you write lyrics first and then music, or music first then lyrics?
Usually music first. I'm a producer at heart, so I like to sit at the computer and do stupid stuff for a couple hours and then start. So.
Well, it works in a lot of cases. Yeah. When you have the group that's with you now, do you share any vocals with that? Because in a couple of videos I was watching, you were doing the vocals almost totally by yourself.
Yeah, for recordings it's all me, and then live I now have some background singers they're just incredible. They're all I don't mean to put myself down, but institutionally better singers than I am. So when I have them behind me, it just creates this sound that I've never had before.
Never hurts to have really good people around you.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, you're working with that guy over there. So
it's it's a little bit surreal because Weldon and I met a couple of months ago, and we met here. And, we hung out and talked a couple of times, but never saw myself working with him. I actually called Emily, who is my piano player, and I was like, so I'm not kicking you out, but I have this great opportunity that I think I could, that I want to ask Weldon to do. And she was like, absolutely, please do it. And I was like, cool. I was like, I didn't really need your permission because I'm the front man, but just wanted to check in.
This is a professional courtesy.
Yeah, exactly.
And if Emily wasn't happy with that, she would sick all 5 of her cats on you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm allergic, so I would die.
Tell us a little bit about the song we're going to hear with you today.
Yeah, this is the only Christmas song I've ever written. And I had and you'll hear it, I had this piano part that Weldon was joking is kind of an earworm. And I had just that part last year, and I kind of just built on it. And I love Christmas music. I start playing it Thanksgiving Day. I hold off all year so hard, and I love it. And I was like, why have I never done one? So I recorded a little bit of it, and I posted it on my Instagram. And I was just like, what do you guys think of a Christmas song? And I got so many responses.
That's great.
And I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this.
Bud Myers and I were having this discussion yesterday about Christmas music, and it kind of drives home our theory at the Breeze radio station, and that I had a chance to play Gene Autry's Up on the Housetop, Click, 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 down through the chimney with Good St. Nick. And it is this corny late 1940s singing cowboy.
Yeah.
But it was part of my Christmas when I was a kid. And then you jump ahead through every generation, you pick up another Christmas song that it doesn't even come close to what the kind of music you like.
Yeah.
But there's that emotion that's tied in there. When you were writing a Christmas song, did you have one idea that you were trying, or was it a mix of all the different Christmas songs that you say you love?
I had an idea. I knew that it was going to be something chill and not, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I had this, I had a vision, and kind of one of the lyrics is it's just reminding me of when I lived at home. And I moved out when I was 18, and I lived close to my parents, but I never moved back in. And whenever it snows or Christmas time, it always reminds me of living at home. And the song is very nostalgic for me, and which is actually ironic because the music video was the first time that I went to New York City. So we filmed a video while we were there. But every time I hear it, it just reminds me of being at home on Christmas and things like that. And, just the way that you feel when you look at lights and stuff like that.
Christmas magic.
Yeah. I mean, that's, people can argue whether that's real or not, but definitely everyone feels some sort of way during Christmas. So
doesn't matter what people feel. It's what you feel. You're the one that made the song. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Reese, do you have...
I turn Christmas music on November 1st. I love it. I don't get sick of it. And this piece that I've heard, I was astounded when Mariah Carey wrote a new classic. And this one sounds to me like it could just be folded right in, and it's one that you'll listen to over and over and over. It just sets the tone. It's slightly somber in tone for me, and I love when Christmas music sounds that way because it reminds you of the gray days, and it's just sublime. I love it. It's perfect.
I sent it. My boss makes fun of me. He doesn't make fun of me, but he's like, "Your music is really good, but it's so sad." And I was like, "Well, I wrote this Christmas song." He's like, "It's still sad."
Which is funny because you almost permanently have a smile on your face.
Yeah, exactly. So people always are like, your songs are so sad, but we meet you and you're the opposite. And I'm like, yeah, I live alone.
You're happy.
So it's
You're happy about that sad song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Proud of it.
All right, what's the name of the song?
It's called The First Time. It's the first time for the snow, reminding me of when I lived at home. The streets are silent and they glow. The air is stiller than a stone. Didn't feel like Christmas until now. I still need to watch some Charlie Brown. This year I hope that it will stay. The feeling that it's Christmas once again. first time for the snow, reminding me of when I lived at home. The streets are silent and they glow. The air is stiller than a stone.
So we were talking a little while ago about Christmas music from different genres and different eras and how it all kind of makes us the people that we are, that we forget about the rest of the year. And your music, to me anyway, in general, when I listen to your music, it's very thoughtful, it's organic, sincere. And you mentioned Charlie Brown in that song. And there's a bit of, you're kind of vulnerable there for a second. It's like, I'm going to be a rock star, Charlie Brown.
It's kind of like, have you ever gotten to like, there's so many things to do during Christmas time. And I feel like a lot, like I can never fit it all in. And so that was kind of like, that I remember like that line was like, it's like getting close to the end of the year. And like, I haven't even watched Charlie Brown. Or like, I haven't been to Lewis Skinner. Like I haven't done these things I do every year.
Yeah.
And it's like people get so swept up in the shopping and all of that stuff, and then kind of forget to do like those small little things that you've always done with your family or whatever. So,
And it makes all the difference.
yeah. So I liked how I slipped that one line in there because that's the only time that I really mentioned something like concrete about Christmas. And it's just like I looked over at Weldon and I saw him smile, and I was like, "That was a good line."
Yeah, yeah, me too. And it hit me too. And I'm sure it hit a lot of folks. And,
Yeah.
and that's the magic. That's what makes it. It's like you're talking about all these other things, but then again, I met you when you were 14, and there's that little boy, and I got, and there it was, and it was magic for me. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I have decided I'm changing my adjective from somber to reflective. I realize that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas is the end of the calendar year. Of course, we're looking back, we're looking ahead. And it's not that the music makes you sad, it's reflective. That's what it is.
I appreciate that. I get one of the people who was playing with me for a bit, she told me once, she was like, it's like kind of hurts because she's like, I relate to every single one of your songs. And they're all about like breakups and heartbreak. And there's a couple ones that are fun, but like, she was like, all of those songs feel like they're like about my life. And I was like, but that's why we do this. I was like, you have to understand, like, as like sad as the music is, when you go out there and play a show to people who are feeling the same way, they're like, oh my God, like I'm not crazy. And so I told her, I was like, you kind of have to remind yourself that that's a big part of why we do it. So I know it sounds like kind of cheesy, but it's really important to me.
It's not cheesy. It's communications.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're communicating with them, and you do something that they feel, and they touch you, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
Thank you very
makes me
much
very
for
happy.
that.
We're happy to have you in the fold.
Thank you. Great to be here.
The Breeze Christmas Special, and we have some special musicians to introduce you to. A lot of them you may not have heard before, and a lot of them you may have, and we have three very talented folks with us this morning. And I say this morning because we are recording some of this in the morning, and I asked the lead singer of this group, are you okay singing first thing in the morning? And she smiled and said yes. We welcome Kingyoso, and I want to ask Goldfish, who is the lead singer, about the name of the band, because I'm always interested where the names come from. Did I even pronounce it right, would be the first question.
You did, yeah.
Okay, cool. Tell us about the name.
It's a Japanese for Goldfish, actually. I was thumbing through, because Goldfish is already a jam band in Sweden, and I was like, what's Goldfish in a bunch of languages? So I'm French, so I was like, Poisson Rouge is what they call it, but that sounded really like, you know, too feminine or something. And then I landed in Japan, and I was like, oh, Kingyoso, it's a beautiful word. And
Yeah. So, have you been Goldfish all your life, or is this just something since you really got serious about music? Or you were born as a little girl called Goldfish?
No. I was, when I was 15 or something, it was a nickname my friend gave me, and then everybody started calling me that. And then I just kind of went by it as an artist and drinking at bars with fake ID, because it's confusing with my real name. And then, it worked out, and I love it.
The other folks that are with you today, this is pretty stripped down, straight ahead music here we're hearing. Jake is on upright bass. Thank you, sir. And Tech is the name of the gentleman on the congas we'll hear in just a second. And we are so excited. Reese, do you have you've met these folks before?
I've met Jake, and I think they're like most Richmond musicians, where you play in so many bands that we wind up seeing you in many iterations, usually different genres. But that's the beauty of the Richmond music scene, is you get to express yourself in whatever form, whether it's a different instrument, different genre, different dynamic with the band. Some people like to lead, some people like to fall back. So it's nice to see you, Jake. You're with the Mighty Good Times, who we've had on Shockoe Sessions Live, who were phenomenal. Please go back and watch that show. But yeah, it's nice to see you all.
Saw Jake walk through the door with an upright bass, not in a case, just an upright bass, and came right through the door and into the studio. And we can't wait. What are you going to sing for us this morning, or this afternoon or evening when you were listening?
I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
So this is a song that's been done by everybody from Sinatra to Michael Jackson to everybody. Mm-hmm. And you're going to put your taste on it.
Yep.
All right, let's see how it tastes.
Okay.
Saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus underneath the mistletoe last night. She didn't hear me creep down the stairs to have a peep. She thought that I was tucked up in my bedroom fast asleep. I saw Mommy tickle Santa Claus underneath his snowy beard so white. Oh, the laughing would it be if my daddy had only seen Mommy kissing Santa Claus last night. I saw Mommy tickle Santa Claus underneath his snowy beard so white. Oh, the laughing would it be? Oh, if my daddy had only seen Mommy kissing Santa Claus last night. Oh, my Mommy kissing Santa Claus last night. Oh, my Mommy kissing Santa Claus last night.
Yeah. So I am not a musician. I'm a disc jockey. Been around musicians all my life.
Could have fooled me.
And I'm always amazed at the work that goes into singing a simple little song like this, where the tonation, where you went almost deep down in your gut for tucked underneath his beard, and then Santa Claus is way up in here. And is that something that comes natural to you, or did you actually put in hours of work rearranging this simple little song, or you just did that?
I think we practiced it twice. We practiced it once
That's ridiculous.
and then
Come
played
on.
a gig.
So much talent there. It's so much, it's just, it's like taking something that the rest of us just kind of hear and putting layer and layer and layer and layer on top of it. And man, that was it. That was great, y'all.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Beautiful layers. I am curious to know if any of you have any Christmas traditions that either may be odd in your family or they're sort of classic that you just have to do every year. Something you have to watch, something you have to eat, somewhere you have to go. Tech, I think you have a jam band session every year, right?
So I'm a part of a family of musicians, so Christmas season comes around and, we always get together around the holidays, and there's typically instruments laying around and someone eventually has to pick one up. And so it becomes a little family jam session.
You can't resist the call.
Jake, you play with a lot of different bands and you hear a lot of different takes on music, whatever style it is. When you work with somebody like Goldfish who has this old soul kind of sound, is that fun for a bass player? I'll let you walk over to her microphone if you can there real quick. And go ahead. And I was just wondering about playing with somebody like this who lights up the room.
Yeah, really she does. And I mean, you kind of took the words out of my mouth, where she does what she does so well that I can pretty much do whatever I want to. So she already sets the basis. She sort of sets the expectation with what she does. And then it's very liberating to hit pretty much any note that I want to, and it still sounds good because Goldie is so excellent. So.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, I think you brighten a lot of folks' holidays, and we appreciate you. And thank you for coming in, and our thanks to our friends from In Your Ear for setting up a great set here for us. And hopefully this will be a tradition, and some iteration of this group or another group. We hope to see you all again, and we wish you Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. And now we get to turn to Elizabeth Wise, accompanied by Weldon Hill, and we'll turn on the bluesier side of Christmas.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Won't you please have snow and mistletoe and presents under the tree? Christmas Eve, gonna find me. I said where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Baby, I'm gonna be home for Christmas. I said you can plan on me. Please have a snow, please have that mistletoe and presents all under the tree. I said I wanna be there Christmas Eve, and he's gonna find me where your love light gleams. I'm gonna be home for Christmas, baby. If only, I said if only, if only in my dreams. Yeah.
So special to hear your take on a song that we all know. And the first time around, kind of straight, playing it straight right down the line. And then Weldon talked to us in an earlier set, talk about pulling out the stops on an organ. And it was like you pulled every stop out and it all just poured out when you got to the second time around, and we got a real taste of what was in there, and it came out. Your music is so well. I think I read that you said that you're kind of a country girl, and I had a friend of mine a couple of years ago. We were talking about music, and he loved country music. And he asked me, well, what do you like? And I said, well, I don't like country music. I like soul music. And he went, Bill, all music is soul music if it's done right. And so tell us a little bit about, I'm just going on and on. I'm kind of rambling here, so I'm going to let you jump in a second. But the first time I saw Bonnie Raitt as a young guy, an old gray beard now, I saw her on stage, and she kind of held herself like a guy. She carried herself like a guy with a guitar. And that's the impression I get from you, too. It's almost like a macho kind of approach. Do you see yourself like that?
I think I could see why you're saying that. I think it's kind of a defense mechanism, really. I mean, I've gotten the backhanded compliment a million times. You play pretty good for a girl, you know? So maybe I don't want to walk like a girl.
You didn't hit them with the guitar when they said that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, did I hit them with the guitar
when they said that? You thought about it.
I cared too much about the guitar. I just punched them.
Well,
I also don't punch like a girl.
You also what?
Don't punch like a girl.
You don't punch like a girl. So, all right, well, I'm way across the room from you, so that's good.
No, I mean, those
Just
guys
in case.
saying that.
You mentioned water a lot, and you mentioned the river. And for a lot of Richmonders, you know, the river means a whole different thing. But the James River and being around that water, I think humans instinctively calm down when they're around the river and around water. And that's a big part of your music, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I've always been very attached to bodies of water, especially rivers. Maybe because I grew up around them, but they were always central to me and kind of my spaces to mountains and rivers for spaces to relax and get some quiet.
So when you're performing, take us through that experience that you're feeling on stage and what you see reflected back from an audience.
Well, I mean, that's going to be different from a dark, dingy dive bar to a sports bar to a venue. Should I tell you the ones that the audiences that I've particularly enjoyed?
Sure.
But I love playing for swing dancers and blues dancers. They are the best because it gets so much energy back, and it doesn't feel like just depleting the resources, the reservoir. It's more symbiotic. And yeah, I've had people come up to me and tell me that they were going through a really hard time. And I remember one older gentleman in particular came up and he had tears in his eyes and he said he was going through a really rough time. And there was something about what I was singing, and they were my songs, that he really needed to hear those at that time, and they comforted him. So I get from dancers to people going through a rough time and teary. It's those genuine kind of responses are the best. And I've driven 18 hours after a shift of work and played only to a bartender for tips. Then the bartender telling me something similar, like, man, I've had a really rough day, and this was a nice way to end my day. Kind of glad it was just us, and I didn't have to deal with any drunk people, so not that bad. It was worth it. Not financially, but but it made it feel like it was all worth it.
Do you get peace of mind from playing? And you just talked about touching people with your music. Does it give you peace of mind?
Yeah, I think so. Music for me has always been about connection. That's always what it's been about. It never crossed my mind about being a star and having the big shows and the lights and stuff. And my family, the big family get-togethers with all the third cousins twice removed and everybody, and we all knew each other just as cousin, and we always were from the Shenandoah Valley, and we get together pretty often. Be like 50 people running around of all different generations, and usually at some point there are a lot of fantastic musicians from classical to bluegrass in my family, and the instruments just come out at some point. Those are my favorite moments as a kid, and I was a painfully shy kid, so I didn't have a lot of friends and stuff, but those times were my favorite, and so I think that's where my passion and drive comes from, is just those connections, and it's sharing music has been the thing that helped me as a painfully shy kid. So it's how I've connected with people.
I've known you for at least 10 minutes now, and I could tell you were shy, but man, when Weldon was playing and you were singing, there was no shyness there. It was right up front, a gift. So thanks for sharing your gift with us for Christmas, and continued success. And I'm very excited to meet you, and I can't wait to hear more. Merry Christmas from The Breeze. We have had a lot of great Christmas presents for you on our Christmas special, and we've got a treat for you again. Rodney Stith joins us now, and Weldon's going to back him up on piano on that too. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
I appreciate the same to you, sir.
Well, at The Breeze, we have a rule.
Oh.
The only song we can play is a good song.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and so that doesn't matter what genre it comes from. It doesn't matter what time period it comes from. If it's what we used to call in radio an oh wow song, when you hear it, you go, oh wow.
Oh wow. Wow.
The
wow factor.
That's what it works for. So what are you going to play for us today?
Matter of fact, I'm going to play it's Otis Redding.
Otis Redding.
Yeah, Otis Redding. But his interpretation of the song Merry Christmas, Baby.
Yeah.
I know y'all, heard the
other
version.
Yeah, other version. Hear it again.
But I like the way how he just took the song, because every song that he remakes and stuff, he just put his own thing to it. You don't even think about the original. For some reason, when he does it, you just think about how he does. Because I think he did a White Christmas.
Yes.
He did that version. It's like, wow. And so hopefully I can be able to, have a great job as he did. And this is Merry Christmas, Baby. Merry Christmas, baby.
tonight. Merry Christmas, baby. Surely treat you nice. Bought me diamond ring for Christmas. I feel like I'm in paradise. Feel mighty fine, girl. I got music on my radio. Feel mighty fine, 'cause I got music on my radio. Feel like I wanna kiss you, standing underneath that mistletoe. It's my part right here, y'all. Listen. Santa came down the chimney, 3:30, y'all. Left all those good old presents for my baby and for me. Ha ha ha. Merry Christmas, baby. Surely treat you nice. Yeah. Bought me all the good old presents. I love you, babe, for the rest of my life. Yeah, 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 yeah. Chimney, 3:30, y'all. Left all those good old presents for my baby and for me. Ha ha ha. Merry Christmas, baby. Surely treat you nice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bought me all the good old presents. I love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Say it again, I say, Merry Christmas, baby. Surely treat you nice. Merry Christmas, baby. I said you surely treat you nice. Bought me all the good old presents. I love you, baby, for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Amen.
All right. Order's ready.
Let's talk a little bit about soul music and what it means to you. Obviously, you have that in you and it comes out. We've had a couple of sound checks, so tell us a little bit about that.
I think you said it before. It can be pretty much in any genre. As long as it comes from you and it comes from your heart, I think it can be soul music.
Opera music can be soul music.
Opera music can be soul music.
It is soul music.
So and I say what you just said, it can be soul music. It all depends on what you put in it.
So I mentioned my love for Otis Redding. That's what I grew up with. That's the basis for me. I was kind of joking around, but it's true.
Right.
And do you have a favorite artist? Are you able to nail it down to one or two?
I would say probably it's Al Green. I love Al Green.
That's a good starting point.
It's a David Ruffin. I know you know David Ruffin, Soulful, and Sam Cooke is kind of pretty much the medium of as all the soul singers, as well as gospel singers. I love a lot of those too. Harvey Watkins, the Canton Spirituals, those type of things. It's quartets. that's where I grew up. But then on the other side, I love the Beatles. I love the Bee Gees. Those types of groups. Because when I was coming up, growing up, I listened to a lot of music. It's like it's a human radio box. George Harrison, stuff like that. I'm a big fan of his now. I've been playing a lot of his stuff, stuff spiritually. So I'm pretty much like the radio.
You're a lot of fun, man. We appreciate
you so much,
and
man.
Keep doing what you're doing. And this
Thank
is
you.
such a gift you're giving to us to let us play this great music for everybody. And folks, find out about the talent and the amazing river of music that is flowing through Richmond, Virginia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now it is my pleasure to introduce Laney Sullivan from Høly River with a couple of tunes. And we'll begin with one, a song about somebody's ship coming in.
I saw 3 ships a-sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships a-sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. And all the bells on earth shall ring on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And all the bells on earth shall ring on Christmas Day in the morning. And let us all rejoice and sing on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And let us all rejoice and sing on Christmas Day in the morning. On Christmas Day in the
What a great Christmas present we're able to bring you on The Breeze, to bring all of these wonderful musicians from Central Virginia. And thanks to our friends at In Your Ear, we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But we're lucky enough to have Laney Sullivan of Høly River here with us. And when I listen to your music, Laney, it's almost meditative, ethereal, kind of deep music. And I know you're a new mom. You've got a 1-year-old at home. And I'm wondering if that's changed your music or the way you approach it at all. Obviously, you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
But tell us about that.
It makes it harder to practice. That's for sure. It's funny. People were like, I can't wait to see what you create now with this perspective of being a parent, because it's such a deep experience. And our music is already so thoughtful. And honestly, we haven't been able to make much of anything. I mean,
Haven't been able to sleep.
We sing songs all day, to the baby, but and we've been touring with her, and it's been a wonderful experience. And our old music, or our catalog, is definitely ingrained in her body from touring with her in utero, and then touring with her as a small child. She loves the music and will just start dancing as soon as she hears my voice, if someone else is holding her at a show. But yeah, we look forward. Next week we're going to take a writing retreat and just try to be together, because my co-parent, Jameson, is the father and my bandmate. So we're both parents in the band. And so we have to have childcare in order to not be distracted, to write new music. So we're going to work on that next week.
So maybe we can hear some gurgling sounds in the background from the baby and get her credits on the next tune.
Oh, no. Maybe.
You're going to sing a very serious song. Obviously, your music is kind of like that anyway. And like we said, it's kind of deep. What are you going to do for us today?
I'm going to play my favorite Christmas carol, O Come, Emmanuel. This, I think, is just one of the most beautiful melodies of a song ever written. It's so deep, so beautiful.
O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O come, great wisdom from on high, who orders all things mightily. To us the path of knowledge show, and teach us in her ways to grow. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, 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 Emmanuel shall come to thee, O
Well, thank you for sharing your talent, and we got you out of the house away from the baby for a minute, so that's nice too. And thank you for sharing, and a Merry Christmas to you and your new family.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you all.
Once again, we want to say thank you to everyone for listening to our first Christmas special on The Breeze. And boy, I think special needs to be highlighted and underlined. And Reese Williams has been here helping us through this every step of the way. Reese, thank you so much. Is it always this magical when you do the Shockoe sessions and you have people in here? What a wonderful job you have.
It's not a job. It just can't be. I pinch myself several times a week. I get paid to be here? This is crazy. It's amazing. And they're all local artists. I just can't remind people enough that all this talent that we hear for the last 2.5 years, every single Tuesday, they are all from the immediate area, which is just incredible. I love the phrase you use, the flow of music in the river of Richmond. It's just incredible.
I would pay to be part of this. They actually pay you? Son of a gun. All right, listen, we have so many talented people here, and we wanted to run down the list again of everybody that we had on the show. Kind of built on the platform of Dr. Weldon Hill. He's runs through the whole thing, and having that kind of base to build on was awesome. Sam McCoig, Elizabeth Wise, Rodney Stith, Kingyoso, Laney, Sullivan, and Høly River. Big thank you to the staff here. This is a Richmond institution in your ear, and what a precious jewel to have, to put the sounds out and the vibe out in the air on the breeze, and to have you here and everybody here. Of course, the maestro himself, Carlos Chafin, Andrea Buchheit, and Reese Williams. Thank you so much for making In Your Ear available to us, and all the work you did with putting our show together. Was it as exciting for you as it was for us to come from the outside?
It's our pleasure. I'm lucky that the three of us are Christmas nuts. We absolutely love it. So we don't get sick of it. We could hear it all day long, and we do often. So this just kicks off the holiday for us this season.
Well, hopefully we can make this a Christmas tradition. Thanks again to In Your Ear, and thanks to all these wonderful musicians from Richmond, Virginia. If you go to vabreeze.com, we'll have all the information on these and all the other wonderful local musicians, and go out and hear live music whenever you can. It is what makes Richmond one of the things that makes it the special place that it is. Again, thanks to In Your Ear, and thank you for listening, and Merry Christmas from all of us at The Breeze.